Every one of you is aware of the spirited debate that has been raging for decades between evolutionists and creationists. This hot debate began in the mid-19th century, about 125 years ago, when Charles Darwin developed his theory of gradual evolution. Basically, what Charles Darwin said was that life began spontaneously from inanimate, inorganic matter. This beginning of life was supposedly in water, and a single simple cell first formed. Then this cell split and multiplied and evolved into new forms of life. With the passage of millions upon millions of years, fish came into existence in this water. And with additional millions upon millions of years, some of the fish started to walk on land and started to develop lungs instead of gills. Eventually, again, additional millions and millions of years were required for some of these land creatures to develop wings and the ability to fly. Another branch of these land animals continued to develop and evolve all the way to human beings. Of course, as scientists, we took this theory of Charles Darwin and we scrutinized it. We put it to the test, like any other theory. Darwin used terms like natural selection, mutations, survival of the fittest to explain his theory. Now, during the last 100 years of scientific revolution, we learned quite a few things. Many of the things that you and I learned as youngsters have been found to be wrong, or at best trivialized. So we took this theory of evolution and we studied it carefully. We started to look for the evidence. We treated it like any other theory, trying to prove it and turn it into a law. So in the process of studying the theory and collecting evidence, fossils and skeletal remnants and so on, and the other sciences combined to teach us that parts of the original theory of Darwin were unworkable or scientifically wrong, just downright wrong. And this led to the modification of Darwin's theory. As scientists, we had to modify the original theory of evolution as written by Charles Darwin in order to fit the new established facts. Let me give you a couple of examples. Gradual evolution proved to be wrong. Our fossil record does not support gradual evolution. You heard about the missing link. Every one of you knows about the missing link, and I'm here to tell you that there is not just a missing link, there are thousands of missing links. And to solve this problem, the scientists came up with a new theory called punctuated equilibrium. Stephen Gould of Harvard and Niles Eldredge came up with this idea, punctuated equilibria, to solve the problem of the missing links. What they said was that evolution happened in giant leaps, not gradually. So this was the first major modification of the original theory of evolution. Another idea, for example, that we had to abandon was Lamarck's concept of inherited, let me give you the correct expression here, the transmission of acquired characteristics. This concept of Lamarck had to be abandoned because it proved unworkable. And to give you an example of from everyday life, Lamarck, for example, said that the giraffe has a long neck because those animals had to reach for high leaves and they lived in an area where they needed the long neck. Well, this was proven unworkable and scientifically untenable, and it was eventually abandoned. So we kept adjusting and modifying the theory of evolution. What I wish to share with you today is a scientific examination of both evolution and creation. I will present to you physical evidence, irrefutable, incontrovertible evidence that will help you decide exactly what took place, evolution and or creation. The title of this program is Evolution or Creation, the Final Argument. And hopefully by the end of this program you will see enough evidence to help you make a final decision about evolution and creation. We will find out exactly what components of Darwin's theory are correct and which components are wrong. And I must point out at this time that Darwin was indeed a genius when he suggested natural selection, survival of the fittest, and mutations to explain his theory. Let me give you a good example. The navel orange, this beautiful fruit, is a new creature. That's right, your great-grandfather never saw or tasted a navel orange. And this happened through mutation. All of a sudden this tree came out with this beautiful fruit, seedless and delicious, and of course now it is spread all over the world. We take it for granted. But this is a good example of evolution. However, I must point out that the navel orange evolved from oranges. In other words, we did not see an apple evolve from oranges, or a fig. An orange, it is still, the navel orange is still an orange. And this is an important point. The evolution creation issue is before the Supreme Court this year in 1987. So this program is quite timely because right now we have a powerful scientific and objective tool that can tell us exactly which events in the world are probable and which events are not probable. This powerful, objective and scientific tool is mathematics. Mathematics is the most scientific of all sciences. It is a pure science. And through mathematics we can tell if a bridge or a building is going to collapse or not under any given circumstances. So we can use this powerful tool to examine both evolution and creation. This is exactly what we're going to do together, and hopefully by the end of this program you and I will reach a final decision. So the name, the final argument, is quite appropriate. Let me first simplify the mathematical laws, the laws of probability, that we will be using today to examine both evolution and creation. Let us say we have 5 cubes. Each cube is labeled with only one number, either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. If we mix these 5 cubes in a mixer and have them fall down in some kind of a device so they'll be lined up in one line, or toss them up in the air and have them fall in such a way so they'll be lined up, what are the possible combinations of these 5 cubes? How many permutations are we going to have? Well, the laws of mathematics are very simple. They tell you that you will get 120 combinations, and you obtain this by multiplying 1 by 2 by 3 by 4 by 5. The product is 120. So you will get 120 combinations or permutations. In other words, every combination, let us say, if they fall down lined up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this particular combination, this combination has a chance out of 120 chances. Let me show you on the board. Here we are with 5 cubes, each one labeled with only one number. You toss them up in the air and have them fall down so they'll be lined up in this particular combination. What are the possible combinations? How many? Here we see the formula. The number of possible combinations or permutations is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 or 120 combinations. The probability for any specific combination is obtained by dividing 1 over 120 because each combination has a chance out of 120 chances. And 1 over 120 equals 0.0086. This probability diminishes fast as we increase the number of cubes. For example, if we increase the number of cubes by 1, so you have 6 cubes instead of 5, the number of possible combination jumps from 120 to 720. 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6. And the probability for any specific combination goes down from 1 out of 120 to 1 out of 720, or 0.0014. So you can see how fast it diminishes. Okay, well, when will the probability diminish all the way to 0? Well, mathematicians who are exceedingly precise, conservative, and careful scientists decided that if you have 84 cubes, then the probability is 0 for getting any specific combinations. What does this mean? Let me go to the board and show you this. I have the number here for 84 cubes. The probability, look at this, is 0.000000 all the way 50 zeros, and then 208. So you can see here that the probability for all practical purposes is 0. And this, by the way, is extending it the full benefit of the doubt. What does this mean in practical terms? This means that you can take these 84 cubes, toss them up in the air, and have them fall in such a way so they line up. And if you want the specific combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 84, if you want this specific combination, you can toss up these cubes and have them fall down lined up forever, and you will never see this combination. This is what probability 0 means. You can appreciate that. Now, many of you are familiar with the lottery. You know what your chances are of winning the lottery. And here, in the lottery, we're talking about 5 or 6 numbers. So you can really appreciate the improbability of having 84 cubes line up in a specific combination. To make a long story short, the genetic material of the human being, the gene that decides what kind of creature we have, this genetic material contains, listen to this, 30 billion nucleotides arranged in specific sequences and specific quantities. Now, what are the probabilities of arranging these billions of nucleotides in a specific sequence? Of course, you know the answer from mathematical laws. The probability is 0 many times over. We are talking here about not 84 numbers or 8400 numbers or 84,000 or 84 million numbers. We're talking about 30 billion nucleotides.